Welcome to Quality Branding Hub. The channel is for the quality control engineer, site engineer, and the civil engineer who are working in the construction field. In this channel, we are dealing with anything and everything which is required to get success in the construction and quality control. Now, success is not about the only the project success, but the engineer who are working at the project, how they can get their success in their career. That strategy also we are discussing in this channel. So this is all about the success of the quality control engineer, site engineer, and the civil engineer. Now, what is today's topics? Today's topic is about a very fundamental things, but it's mostly ignored at the side because the engineer thing it is not a engineering aspect is required, so they are just leaving it to the carpenter. It's the shuttering oil or the mold release agent. It is very much important in the project, but it's negligible. So today what I will discuss, today I will discuss each and everything about the shuttering oil. What is shuttering oil? What are the different types of shuttering oil? How can you select the shuttering oil? So stay tuned until then to get the full information. And if you're new in my channel, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get immediate notification. Jump into the subject, that is a shuttering oil or the mold release agent. You can see my mind map. So before starting anything, you need to know what is called shuttering oil or the mold release agent. Now, shuttering oil or the formwork release agent is a lubricating material applied on the surface of the formwork or the shuttering before placing of the concrete. So all we know this one, this is very fundamental things, but this is a lubricant. Why? Because it can remove formwork easily without affecting the concrete properties or without damaging the concrete. So this is the shuttering oil. But what is the main purpose of this shuttering oil? That we need to know, that is that to prevent concrete from sticking to the formwork. It is important that know that concrete is a sticky material, and whenever we are pouring the concrete, it can stick onto the surface of the formwork. So whenever we are removing the formwork, it can bring out the concrete itself. So both the shuttering and the concrete can damage whenever you are removing. So it helps to reduce that one, to ensure easy removal or the deshuttering, to produce a smooth surface finish. Now, in simple words, what we can say, it effect acts as the separating layer between concrete and the shuttering. Now, here is a catch. Now, it is acting as a barrier or is a separation layer. Now, but it is can react with the concrete as well as it can react with the shuttering plate or the shuttering board. So what you need to do, you need to make the compatibility whether it is okay or not. That also you need to check. So this is what is shuttering oil. Now next we need to check that one, the second part, benefits of shuttering oil. Now why we want to use shuttering oil? Maybe we cannot use that shuttering oil, that's not required. But why you are using the shuttering oil, that we need to know. First, it easy deshuttering, reduces the bonding between concrete and the formwork and saves times and labor. Now what is happening, the concrete has the stickiness properties. So whenever we are pouring the concrete, it can stick with the formwork, and when we are removing, the concrete can come out or it can stick into the formwork. Both the formwork and concrete can damage. So it helps to easy deshuttering, and it is removing or it is minimizing the effect of the concrete damages. So that is why this easy deshuttering we are using deshuttering oil or the shuttering oil. Now it is a better surface finish, produces smooth honeycomb free concrete surface. Now we, what is honeycombing? All we know, if there is any void inside the concrete, and we called it the honeycombing. So if there is a barrier, it is preventing the moisture loss also. So it helps to keep the moisture inside, and on that way it is preventing the honeycombing and reduces plastering requirement. If the surface is finished, there's a fair face finish, we don't require any surface. The many places, the bridges we are making, we are not doing the surface plastering, but it gives the looks better. So the shuttering also has that effect. Then increased life of formwork. See, formwork is the material we need to use, and if we are using one time and replace that one, the concrete or the construction cost will be the more. So what we need to reuse the material or recycle the material. So This shuttering oil helps that the increase the life of a formwork. So, and, protect shuttering or form and rust, moisture changes, whatever it is. It protect the formwork, then reduces repair work, this less surface defect and less patchwork. If there is no shuttering oil on the form, there is a defect can be generated and the patchwork can be happen, and we need to do the more repair work and the cost saving. Why it is cost saving? Because the faster cycle time, less labor and maintenance. Because if there is no shuttering oil, then there can be a damage of the concrete, can be damage of the shuttering board. So all in the cases it's a cost, so it is saving the cost. So that is why we need to use the benefits of shuttering oil, or criteria of selecting of the shuttering oil. Now it is a very important part. This all shuttering oil is not suitable for all type of shuttering. So how you can select the shuttering oil, that is very much important, because it will give the result for your concrete and for your shuttering. So you need to select the shuttering oil as per the criteria. So first you need to find out what is the type of formwork you are using. Maybe the steel shuttering, maybe the wooden plywood shuttering, maybe the aluminum shuttering. So according to that one, you need to select what type of shuttering oil is suitable or is the compatible to each other. So just for the shuttering, the steel shuttering, we can use the mineral oil, chemical release agent. If it is a wooden or plywood, emulsion based oil, that's non-staining. Just I'm giving you the example, but according to your area, according to your climate condition, according to your formwork type, according to your the concrete perimeter, that it has to decide according to that one. And whenever you are taking from any companies, you need to check whether it is a compatible or not, because it should not react with the concrete and you should not react with the shuttering. That is the first and foremost criteria to select the shuttering oil. Then type of formwork, then what type of surface finish you need, then the architectural quality, high quality non-staining oil, and the normal work standard release agent, where you will do the plastering, that where you can use the normal standard release agent. But when you need the architectural concrete high quality, then you need to the non-staining well. So then is the weather condition that I already discussed. Is a hot weather, cold weather. So according to that, you need to select what type of concrete really mold release agent you need to use. Then in hot weather, oil shutter not evaporate quickly. Cold weather should remain fluid, because in the cold weather, if the shuttering oil not fluid well, it cannot apply on the surface of the shuttering. So you need to find out it should be fluid that remain when you're working. In the hot whether it should not evaporate easily. If it is evaporate, then there is no use of using the shuttering oil. So the weather condition also has the effect. You need to select the shuttering oil based on the weather condition. And compatibility with the concrete, that I already discussed, that it should not react with the concrete, it should not affect the strength, and it should not cause discoloration, and same way it should not react with the shuttering oil also. Then ease of application, then the separable sprayable, brushable, and the thin uniform film coating. If it is not easy to application, then don't select that one, because the laborer will not do that one and it will take more time, more labor, more cost, everything. And then non-staining and non-toxic, must not leave stain on the concrete and safe for worker. So that also you need to think about your mind whenever you're working, that whatever the material you're using, that will not affect your worker and that will not affect the concrete. So if there is a stain on the concrete because of the shuttering oil, again you have to remove that one, and if the stain is there, that may react with the concrete. So according to that also you need to select the shuttering oil. Then corrosion protection should protect steel shuttering from rust. If the requirement on that, that also you need to do. And then environmental condition, prefer eco-friendly and biodegradable oil. That means sustainable construction. All we know that we are doing, because we have only one mother earth, and only one mother earth, we need to protect our mother earth. So whatever the material you are selecting, that should be environmental friendly and eco-friendly, that should be biodegradable. So these are the criteria: type of formwork, surface finish, weather condition, compatibility with concrete, ease of application, non-staining and non-toxic, corrosion protection, and environmental consideration. The next part is relevant IS code. Whenever you are working in India, we have the IS code, and you need to follow that one. That is IS 9103 and IS 456 for concrete related anything, we need to follow the IS 456. So these two code you need to refer whenever you are working in India and you are dealing with the mold release agent. Now, what is the physical property you need to discuss, or you need to find out whatever the physical properties you need to consider whenever you are selecting the shuttering well. See, low viscosity, that means easy present spreading, good field forming ability, that uniform thin layer, and it will act as a moisture barrier also. Then non-volatile, should not evaporate quickly,
Coverage.
and good
Why?
because less consumption. If the coverage is more, less consumption will be less, and it will be the economical. And if it is the coverage area is less, then it will be not beneficial. It will require more cost, and that water repellent nature. So it will repel the water, so that it will not allow the water vapor to penetrate inside the concrete, as well as that evaporate from the concrete. So these are also the properties you need to check. The next is the chemical properties. What is the chemical properties you need to check? Chemically inert with the cement or the concrete, so it should not react with the cement or the concrete. Then non-reactive, no harmful chemical reaction, non-acidic, non-alkaline, neutral pH preferred, no staining, no effect on concrete strength or bonding, and free from harmful or chloride sulfate to avoid corrosion. So if the chloride sulfate is there, so what will happen? It will penetrate into the concrete, and it will start corroding the reinforcement steel, and it will deteriorate the concrete strength and concrete durability. So you need to check that one, the chemical properties, these all things, that it will not react with the cement or the concrete, and non-reactive, and there's non-alcoholic, non-acidic, non-alkaline, that is neutral pH, no staining, and no effect on concrete strength and bonding, and free from harmful chloride and sulfate. So these are the physical and chemical properties. Now, what are the types of shattering oil we have? And accordingly, whatever your project area, then the project area, you can select what type of concrete shattering oil you can use. The first is mineral oil based, made from petroleum product, most commonly used in the other feature is this good release properties, economical and suitable for steel formwork, and it has some limitation that can stain concrete if not applied properly. So this has the limitation. So you need to find out whenever you are selecting the mineral oil based shattering oil. Then emulsion based, that no water based. This is a mixed of oil plus water, milky appearance. So what is the feature? That is eco-friendly, non-staining, ideal for plywood and wooden shuttering. But it has also had limitation. What is the limitation? That is architectural concrete surface based worker. So this for the emulsion based. Now, chemical release agent, specially formulated chemical compounds. Now, what is the feature? React chemically to create a release layer, very smooth surface finish, and requires very small quantity, and waste for high quality finishing work. So if you are considering high quality finish, go for the chemical release agent. Then vegetable oil based, that are bio based, they're made from natural oils like soybean, etc. What is the feature? Features the environment friendly, biodegradable, and low toxicity. And where you can use that one? Used in the green construction projects. Again, the sustainability. We all have to think about the sustainability about the our mother earth. So whatever we are working in the projects, we should not make our earth polluted, or we need to protect our earth. So this is a vegetable oil based, then synthetic oil based, that is manufactured from synthetic compounds. What is the feature? Corrosion resistance, performance, consistent performance is given, better stability in extreme weather, and long lasting film. So if your criteria is that, go for the synthetic oil base. Then wax based release agent, and then it contain wax compound. So what is the feature? The feature is form of physical barrier, excellent finish, and water resistance. It has a good properties. So if you have that type of working, you can go for the workspace, but it has a limitation or the drawbacks, because after removing the wax is remain onto the concrete surface. So you need to remove that wax from the concrete as well as from the shuttering oil, shuttering board itself. So it requires another labor to release that one. So considering this, you can select the wax based release agent. So, and then solvent based release agent, it is oil mixed with solvent. On what is the feature? This quick drying, easy application, and can be hazardous, flammable, or fumes, because it's the solvent base. So these are the different types of shattering oil. This is mineral oil based, emulsion based, chemical release agent, vegetable oil based, synthetic oil based, wax based release agent, and solvents based release agent. Now, how you can select that one, I have already discussed, but you need to think about what type of concrete, what type of finish, what type of shuttering board, and what is the weather of that area, and whether you are considering biodegradable material or not. So that all are the criteria, and according to that, you need to select your shuttering oil for your project. So keep in your mind, don't leave it to the carpenter, whatever they are bringing and you are using that one. Don't do that one, because it's a common practice. People are coming and they are using this used diesel, also used oil. So that is also a harmful effect on the concrete itself as well as the concrete shuttering board. But you need to check one by one, what type of concrete, what type of finish, what type of shuttering board, whether whatever the area you are working, what is the weather condition, and then what is the biodegradable or your sustainable construction you are applying or not. These are all the criteria you need to find out, and according to that, you need to select the shuttering oil. And mostly, you need to select that shuttering oil that should not react with the concrete as well as with the shuttering board. Now, the simple classification, then easy to remember. So by composition, see here I discussed different types of shuttering oil, different base, but if I have just made it in a simple word. In by composition, that mineral oil, emulsion, chemical, vegetable base, and synthetic. And by mechanism, barrier type and the reactive type. So these are the different types of shuttering oil generally we are using in the construction. Now, what is the last point, the common site mistakes we are doing, that I'm just discussing, that is the used waste engine oil. This is the scenario, and I have seen so many places they are bringing the used engine oil, waste engine oil, and they are using that one for the shuttering board. So it should be strictly not, it is not acceptable, it is not permittable. So what is happening, if you are using that one, you can say we can use that one, it will make a black stains, weak surface, and poor bonding with the plaster, because it's a well and it's a already waste. So it is not acceptable at all. And if you see in your project that the carpenter is bringing the waste engine oil and they are using that one, stop that immediately. Immediately stop that one and ask them to use the shuttering oil based on the criteria what we have discussed. So these are all about the shuttering oil in the construction, and I have discussed each and everything, what is shuttering oil, what is the different types of shuttering oil, and what is the criteria to select the shuttering oil, what is the ICE code. I hope you find it useful, and if you find it useful, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll get immediate notification. And I'm waiting for your valuable comment, so that from your valuable comment, everybody will be benefited. And if you want to know anything more about quality control and construction, please let me know. I will come with more content like this. And thank you once again for watching me.